The 2025 Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin has been an unusual season as far as Mazda racing is concerned. 2 drivers have claimed every pole position and a different 2 drivers with every race victory. It's the familiar face on pole position for today's race with Nate Cicero taking number 4, but will it be someone besides Tyler Gonzalez or Jared Thomas who claims victory? Well, in about 50 minutes, we will know the answer to that. Hi, everybody. I am SKYACTIV with Mazda Motorsports North America. John Hindhaugh will be joining me shortly. Where are we, you may be asking? We are at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. This phenomenal fan favorite and driver favorite track is about equidistance between Cincinnati and Columbus, Ohio. We are in, literally, Mid-Ohio. A beautiful circuit. It is 2.24 miles in length with 13 turns, and the turns are known by their names. We've got the keyhole, turn 4, at the exit of which is China Beach. Most drivers don't want to end up there. You've got the roller coaster, you've got the carousel. This is a track that is different from any other we go to because where you start and where you finish are on opposite sides of the circuit. 32 cars are set to take today's green flag, and it is that 83 of Nate Cicero who claimed pole position in a very interesting qualifying session this morning. He had to serve a drive-through penalty, was separated from all of his friends out on the track, and then at the last gasp, put in the fastest lap of the session. But it was McCumbee-McAleer Racing as a whole that swept the front of the grid. They've got 3 cars within the top 4, and they are going to be a force to reckon with. While all weekend long, it's been BSI at the top of the charts. Tyler Gonzalez, race winner of 4 of our 6 races so far this season, has been the man to beat in qualifying. It didn't work out for them. Their strategy of going around with all 4 of their cars together didn't pay off because the draft wasn't strong enough. This is a track where when you're in the draft, it's almost a second advantage. So you need to run around with somebody else because if you don't, you're not going to be able to catch back up. We have a ton of rookies in the field, but there were 2 that were particularly experienced in qualifying today. Very impressive. Justin Ataconas qualified in the 4th position for McCumbee-McAleer Racing, but Vaughn Mishko, with the advantage of a huge draft and learning from his teammate Nathan Nicholson, they qualified in 3rd and 5th. Vaughn, his 2nd race weekend, starts in that 5th position. I'll give you a run of the full grid. Starting from the back, we have Ashlyn Speed in the number 31 for Hendricks Motorsport with Damon Oakey alongside her. The next row up, it is Steve Weber and Farhan Siddiqui. Farhan coming back this weekend, once again with the Cars livery number 95. In the 28th position, it is Christian Hodenland for BSI Racing with Peter Atwater for company from JTR Motorsports Engineering. Peter in car number 26. 25th on the grid is Maite Caceres, one of our 4 women in the field, with Cody Powell. Heather Hadley is on the next row up, another one of the women. She too is with Hendricks Motorsport. And Ethan Tyler coming back to the series this weekend for company. It's Christopher Haldeman with a great qualifying effort to put himself into 22nd, and Bryce Cornier into 21st. Now Bryce is slightly out of place. We will look for him to move forward. We'll also watch for Sally Mott to move forward as her pink car number 15 qualified 20th with Jesse Love. Yes, that Jesse Love from NASCAR, who has come back for a bit of redemption this weekend. He starts in the 19th position. Woody Hyman back in the series again this weekend, a local guy in that bright yellow machine, number 82. He has Noah Harmon, the best finishing rookie at the last race for company. Ethan Goulart, the lone Sato Motorsport Group car, starts 1 further ahead, and then in 15th, it's Weston Workman. Weston will have Elio Meza, his teammate, just in front of him, and Parker DeLong for company on that 7th row. Alex Bashara with the phenomenal qualifying effort, again for Flis Performance, with Bobby Gossett, the worst of our MMR qualifiers, down in 11th. That's impressive. Tyler Gonzalez, the race winner so far for this season, is in the 10th spot. He has Grant West for company. Grant has been driving with a little bit extra this weekend. We got to keep an eye on that blue and yellow machine. Glenn McGee is 1 spot further up, the driver from JTR Motorsports Engineering, alongside JT of JTR Motorsports Engineering. That would be Jared Thomas in the number 96. In 6th position, we have Jeremy Fletcher, car number 22, and then the previously mentioned Vaughn Mishko. And then the front 2 rows, it is Justin Ataconas starting P4 with Nathan Nicholson in 3rd. And the front row of the grid, Gresham Wagner set 2 lap times that were better than the track record. Nice. The existing track record. He thought he had done enough for pole, but just not quite when at the checkered flag, Nate Cicero came through, claiming his 4th pole of the season. New team for Nate this weekend. He's back with MMR. He's got a new livery on the car. He's calling it Herbie the Love MX-5. And let's see what he can do. Green flag has already come out, although we are under a full course caution because the race doesn't start until, John Hindhaugh, they get about another 400 yards down the track.
Yeah, one of 2 tracks that IMSA go to that has a different finish line to a start line. We were at the last one last week at Detroit on the streets downtown. So the 45 minutes coming down to 44 minutes, and the field now under the control of Nate Cicero. The green flag is in the air. Let the battles commence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across the track as Cicero holds onto the lead in the first right-hander down the hill. Everybody else trying to be second at the moment. Over the top, good crowd here for the big weekend of IMSA racing, and Nate Cicero, Shea Adam, continues to lead.
Nate Cicero holding on to that lead, although having to fend off very difficult from Nathan Nicholson, who's a driver very hungry for his first potential win. Gresham Wagner slipping back to 3rd in that RAFA with MMR car. And Gresham had a very eventful 2 practice sessions yesterday, in the second of which Bryce Cornier dropped a wheel off the track and threw a chunk of concrete into Gresham's windshield. Thankfully, it was toward the end of the session, meant that they were able to replace the windshield. There was no practice time lost, but still one of those videos that will get your attention. Gresham knows that he's not going to deal with any of that as long as he's out front. That's where he's looking to get. As off the track goes
already
Ethan
a car
Goulart.
in the gravel. And Ethan comes back onto the track. That was out of the final corner. Gets back onto the circuit. That's cost him a lot of time, but will stay green here, Shea. 2 cars still battling at the front of the field as they head up to the top of the hill. Interesting array of lines. Now, let's find out. Jump or pushed. Watch out for the lighter coloured car in the middle. Oh, now, little snap sideways there, Shea, but was that side-by-side contact?
It was an assist from Noah Harmon, unfortunately, a driver the number 77 with AAG. That was a big shove from Harmon, but that would not have been intentional. The young man who won the scholarship coming into this season, Noah Harmon, very kind driver, very kind human, a little bit more aggressive when the helmet goes on, but that is not at all what we expect to see from Noah Harmon, and that instance is under review, so we'll have to wait and see how it's adjudicated by race control.
Cicero, Nicholson, Wagner, Adiconis doing Adiconis things. We've seen that driver come through the field. Then Jeremy Fletcher, and then the number 96. Watch out for that car as well, the red and white car with the yellow rollover bar. That is Justin Thomas, and then that's your top 6. But we've got, I would say, all the way back to the 10th position car, the number 44 car, sitting in that lead battle as they cross the line again. Laps do not matter here in terms of the race length, Shea, but they do matter for the extra points rather, for leading the most laps. And what do extra points make at the end of the season?
In honor of Alan Space's t-shirt this weekend, real cash money. It does equate out to championship points, equal money at the end of the season, but even more than that, when you get places in the form of the race, you walk away with checks every day. The race winner today will get $6,000. And as a matter of fact, Tyler Gonzalez, I mentioned how he's won 4 races this year. That means that he's almost made as much money through 4 races as somebody in America makes in half a year working their job. It pays to be in this championship. And Nathan Nicholson knows that being out front pays money. That's where he wants to be. Nathan Nicholson to the lead of this race.
And still 40 minutes to go. The yellow and black car then leading. Nicholson from the mostly white car in second, with Nate Cicero. And for a moment, Nicholson pulls out about 3/4 of an MX-5 length, and that in the context of what we see in these races is actually a cushion. Top 3 have maybe a full car's gap back to 4th place. The Adiconis car has Fletcher right up his tailpipes, and then Justin Thomas. That's your top 6 still, just watching further down the field. We talked about the cash that is up for grabs for leading laps. Also cash to take away at the end of each race, Shea, Adam, for the best female driver.
Yeah, $2,000 goes the way of the best finishing woman. Last year, there were 2 women in the field. This weekend, there are 4. So you have a 25% chance of getting $2,000 for finishing the race as the best woman. Now, that's easy to say on paper, but this year, we've had 6 races. We've had 4 different women claim that prize. So it's not the easiest thing in the world to come away with that check, but it is on the mind of every single woman in this field. There's also an award for the best finishing driver of a certain vintage, as we like to say, John, the Takumi Award, and there is actually an intra-paddock battle for that beyond the award that Mazda gives out. There's a little bit of a pool that goes on between some of those drivers. Each session, if you're the best finishing driver, then you don't have to pay the other ones $100. It's very fun.
That is brilliant. Typical of this paddock that something like that should break out in addition to the Mazda cash that's been splashed around. Well, Shea was talking, and we had a change back at the front of the field. Nate Cicero goes back to the point, side by side for second with Nicholson. The Wagner car's right in there as well. Adiconis, Fletcher, Thomas, Mishko, Tyler Gonzalez sitting unusually quietly down in 8th position at the moment, but what scheming is going on underneath the helmet of Tyler Gonzalez. Grant West, who was quickest in the first practice session, just dropping a couple of places there as he went wide in that number 50 car, and that's cost him a little bit of ground. I thought we had the top 6 or 7 pulling away, but I'm looking now at a battle pack, Shea. That's got to be 15 cars.
Yeah, the draft here is worth a second around the track, so even if there is a slight breakaway, it's not going to last. And when you get out of the draft, such as Ethan Goulart is dealing with now, it is extremely detrimental because your lap times will be nowhere near the cars ahead of you or where you need to be to try and catch back up, as now Jared Thomas is being mobbed by MMR cars. I mentioned in the grid read, John, how out of place all the BSI cars were. They went around as a group of 4 during qualifying instead of as a part of the group of, well, let's be honest, 20. It really penalized them. So those cars dropped way further back than we were expecting them. I'm keeping an eye on Tyler Gonzalez, Elio Meza, Weston Workman in particular, and yes, Jesse Love, who has come into the series for this weekend, thanks to Whelen and thanks to the fact that he wants more track time on a road course to get ready for NASCAR when they come back here in a couple months' time. Those cars will not only be moving their way through the field, they will be trying to improve their best lap time because they want a better qualifying position for tomorrow when it's supposed to be very, very wet.
Oh, excellent. More excitement. Just what we actually don't need in Mazda MX-5. The Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup has plenty of excitement for, there are some series out there, quite high level of international motorsport, where we say you want excitement, just add water. This is not one of them. Should just mention Justin Adiconis in that McCumbee McAleer Racing number 23. He's been right up at the sharp end. He is best running rookie at the moment. Second best is Vaughn Mishko, who's running inside the top 10. Top 3, now this is looking ominous. The top 3, Shea, Adam, with a little bit of scrapping going on behind them, starting to break away, and immediately we see the wise old heads moving to the head as we go side by side, and the Rafa Racing Club car of Gresham Wagner has a look down the inside and goes through to take the lead side by side for second. Cicero and Nate Nicholson up and over the top, and immediately they start battling. Now that gap has diminished considerably. Jared Thomas joining the party.
There are 2 drivers in today's race who have previously won at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in our championship. One is leading, that would be Gresham Wagner. The other is in 4th, that would be Jared Thomas. Now, it's a very dangerous thing when you look on the entry list and you see Gresham Wagner is back this weekend. Nothing to lose. All he wants is that victory and money, of course, as well. But he was planning to run only a few races this season. That was altered by the crash at Daytona. That actually wrote his car off, in essence. He had been trying to get ready to sell it, to move on to just coaching this year. Well, that didn't exactly go according to plan. So because the Rafa team actually had a seat open for this weekend, they offered it to Gresham. Gresham very easily accepted. Mid-Ohio's his favorite track on the calendar. And he decided, you know what? I'm coming back out. I'm going to go out in the right style. I want to win.
Well, you can't knock any of the parties for that. Just again, a real note on how this paddock works. There's a lot of competition here, but there's a lot of respect between competitors as well. Still 34 minutes to go. No breakaways yet. Been a few exciting moments, but we try and keep our heart rates down just a little bit until we get into the last few laps. Oh, off at the side of the road. That is not good news. Now, is this going to bring the safety car out? That's Ethan Tyler. That's turn 12.
Yeah,
off
I
to
can see
drivers left by the look of it.
He's pushed up against the barriers at the start of the banners. Basically, it looks like he drove straight off at turn 12. As yes, Tawny now with the double yellows out, so we are full course caution. But Ethan, if you didn't know better from this angle, John, you would think he'd just parked against the banners and maybe found a safe space. Given how the banners are disheveled,
yes.
I don't think that was the case.
No, but the car doesn't look too damaged. And of course he can't get out because his driver's door's that side. Actually, you can, because part of the safety features, as well as the FIA full safety cage and fire suppression devices, there is a drop down net alongside the driver on the door. Obviously, Ethan can't get out of the driver's side, the left hand side, and the front left of that number 80 Mazda is buried. The BSI racing car probably going to need a little bit of remedial work overnight, but he could get out the opposite way. He's just waiting, I think, for a flat toe. The IMSA AMR safety crew already there. Hello to our safety crew. We know that you're listening in. Best in the biz. And it's a busy few weeks for our AMR safety crew. They were on hand to assist at Detroit last weekend. What an event that was. And of course they have this week, then a weekend off if they're not working elsewhere, and then it's off to Sealand's 6 hours of the Glen. No Mazda's there. Full 6 hours for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, and we'll have that for you. Coverage on Saturday and Sunday, making sure that you get your fix of IMSA racing. Another race here tomorrow for the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup, and then of course the 4 hour for the Pilots Challenge. So again, plenty going on here over the next couple of days, and good to see the sports car fans are out in force. Very knowledgeable crowd here. Shay, anytime you bump into somebody when you're walking around, they always want to have a chat. They know what's going on in the sports car world, whether it's IMSA or further afield, and very easy to lose half an hour or 45 minutes of your life talking to the fans here, because they are so knowledgeable about the sport.
It's great to come here and spend time with the fans, and it gives you an excuse to do things that you don't normally get to do. Today, for example, when the autograph session was going on for the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup Championship, I jumped in line. I was helping a young girl, Cecilia, get a poster signed by every single one of our drivers, so I was able to have a chat with every single one of our drivers. You know, you kind of take advantage of these opportunities, but you walk through the paddock and everybody's got vintage racing t-shirts on. These are true fans.
Nice.
It's not just somebody who's gone to the store and gone, oh, you know what, let's see, Alex Pillow on the Indy 500, I'm going to wear his shirt. No, you've got shirts from 20 years ago that people probably bought then and there, that they've continued to support their drivers through and through. It really is a treat to come to Mid-Ohio.
I do like that, because it shows a long-term connection and dedication to the sport. Sports car racing, okay, they're 45-minute races, and probably as well, I'm not sure my cardiac health can stand anymore, but to come here tomorrow to commit a full day to a 4-hour race, even sitting at home watching the IMSA Championship at the 2 hour 40, 4, 6, and of course 10 12 and 24. That is a serious amount of dedication, and the fans here have been at it for a very long time. So I agree with you. It's good to see the t-shirts of yesteryear, and we've all got our favourites, haven't we? I reckon for a good cotton t-shirt, it takes about 6 or 7 years to get it worn in properly, don't you?
Oh, for sure. I mean, your lovely wife's favorite shirt, that is, it's the hippie Porsche. And I'm not saying that the shirt was from then, but it's one of those
Correct.
shirts that it took some time to wear in, and now it's perfectly suited. All right, the lights are off on the safety car, and they are backing up the field, so I think we're getting ready to go again, John.
Ethan Tyler has been pulled away. The timing says he has resumed. I'm not sure that is true. He may have gone into the pit lane. Yes, he has. Just ahead of the green flag, which now comes at the finish time for the restarts. And we are racing just on 28.5 minutes to go. And it was Gresham Wagner who brought them back to the line, who leads them through the first corner and climbs up towards the keyhole. Nathan Nicholson got a decent shot away in second position with the red and white of Jared Thomas and JTR Motorsports. Then it's a pair of McCumbee McAleer racing cars for Nate Cicero and Jeremy Fletcher, although they're side by side. And watch out for Tyler Gonzalez. Elio Meza has come up there as well for BSI, another one of the rookies, and in fact he is now the best of the rookies as Justin Adeconis restarted down in 8th position. This is tight running down the hill, and there's only room for really one car up the inside if you're going to try it. And here comes the dive down the inside for Jared Thomas. Can't get that one done. Nicholson holds on to the inside line for the left-hander. That one is not over yet as they continue scrapping. Gresham Wagner, Nathan Nicholson, Jared Thomas, Nate Cicero, Jeremy Fletcher, all very experienced drivers at the front of the field, Shane.
Yeah, and there is history between Nathan Nicholson and Jared Thomas, so that battle is not over yet, particularly if it's going to come down for a win. Nathan Nicholson will put the elbows out, so that we need to keep an eye on. But a huge restart from Elio Meza. Really great showing from that young man. Rookie, as you mentioned, John. He was second for the scholarship coming into this season. Been doing a lot of racing in NASCAR Mexico, racing and winning. So it's good to see Elio Meza up at the front of the field. Now, keep an eye for Weston Workman, because he will want to get up to his younger teammate, Weston, winner of the Rookie of the Year prize last year. He's actually got a special sponsor on his car, does Weston, this weekend. He's got Chin Motorsport on the side of it as far as track days are concerned. If you go to freetrackday.com, you can win a free track day. So that is something that I've definitely been to that website already this weekend, and I highly recommend every race fan does the same.
Sorry, what was that? .com, did you say? I'm
Free,
just in at the moment.
freetrackday.com.
You're working that one, absolutely. Battle for the lead. Left-hand indicator on from Gresham Wagner in that Rafa Racing team by MMR. McCumbee McAleer Racing running that car. Expect to see a lot of Rafa Racing branding around the circuits and on the track. This is a really interesting new-ish venture, which is moving into all forms of motorsport, including motorsport press and broadcasting as well. More about that to come, I'm sure. Still no real breakaway. Maybe the top 5. Gresham Wagner, Nathan Nicholson, Jared Thomas, then the lighter coloured car of Nate Nicholson, and Elio Meza is just on the end there in the blue, black and white car. He's 5th and he's the best rookie. There's a tiny little gap back to Tyler Gonzalez and Justin Adeconis and Jeremy Fletcher. Noah Harmon inside the top 10 now, and Grant West for Spark Performance in that number 50 car. Fastest lap last time around by Jeremy Fletcher, and there's points for that as well, Shay.
10 bonus points go the way of the driver who sets the fastest lap. 10 bonus points go the way of the driver who leads the most lap. And then 10 points already been awarded to Nate Cicero for that pole position. So right now, there are still points that make a difference in the championship. And if you think, 10 points, whatever, that's the smallest margin in this championship, that won't make a difference. It did. It's the reason that Jared Thomas won his first championship. It was a 10-point difference between he and Connor Zilic. Last season, 10 points made the difference between third and fourth. So those prizes do actually equivocate to money. It does pay to finish better and to be ahead.
Yep. That's Shea Adam, I'm John Hindorf, and there's a great battle going on at the head of the field between the two red and white cars. The slightly less red on the car is the leader, Gresham Wagner for Rafa Racing. Then it's JTR Motorsports Engineering, and the JT is Jared Thomas in that's a classic motorsport livery, isn't it? And trademark bright yellow rollover hoop, over 250. Oh, problem for Cicero. Cicero's pulled off to the left-hand side, and he is slowing down and pulling off the track. That is some kind of mechanical issue, which is so unusual on these cars, Shay. And he's going to try and stay out of the way and get it back to the pit lane. He's only got the carousel, or at least 2/3 of the carousel to get round to get it into the pit lane, but that number 83 car dropping like a stone on the timing and scoring.
The problem that he has is that it's slightly uphill to then get to the point where he can roll into the pit lane. Now he's managed to pass the uphill point. He can just roll straight in, but heartbreak for Nate Cicero. 4 pole positions, 0 wins. Let's see if maybe there was some indication of what went wrong. Did he drop a tire and just knock something loose? No, the car just lost speed coming through turn 9. Very strange from Whelen Racing.
And Whelen Mazda actually did a really good job not to nerf him off the track. There was a tiny bit of contact, but Elio had to lift and did so. And then fair play to Nate. He pulled off. He didn't want to ruin anybody else's race. Just what I was saying about the respect that these drivers have for their fellow competitors, Shay. It would have been easy to just stay in that and try and maybe recycle the power, but that could have caused mayhem at that part of the track.
Well, and he just pulled back into his pit box, John. His engine was still running. It was still ticking over, and it was on a very low idle.
Oh, wow.
It was still going. So that's very unexpected for Nate Cicero. He did have a problem in the first practice session, but that was something breaking within the suspension, something minor breaking within the suspension. And that would not have caused what we saw for him to come back into the pit lane so slowly.
Driveline of some description. I mean, surely it hasn't just jumped out of gear. These are sequential boxes, racing gearboxes. The Sadev, absolutely phenomenal. Jeremy Fletcher goes through and takes another fastest lap. Wagner from Thomas, from Whelen Mazda, from Nathan Nicholson, from Justin Adeconis. Then Jeremy Fletcher, Tyler Gonzalez, Noah Harmon is the second. Check that third best of the rookies, and Grant West in 9th, with Vaughn Mishko, the 4th rookie in the top 10.
Well, now I'm thoroughly confused because they put the hood up on Nate Cicero's car, had a look inside the engine compartment, and he drove back out on the racetrack. We didn't see him get back up to any sort of a pace before he rejoined. Maybe it was something coming loose within the throttle cable. There was an issue in qualifying for an alternator cable for, who was that? It was Jeremy Fletcher. It was his teammate, actually. That had come loose. It meant that Jeremy had to pull back in the pits with about a minute to go, so he lost his potentially last flying lap. But it still wasn't a concern for them, and they said all that happens is when you slow down, you lose power steering. That wouldn't have been a point on the track where Nate would have felt that, though, so I'm going to guess it's a different problem for MMR.
It sort of looked like he'd lost power, which is why I was quite surprised when you said it was still ticking over. Very odd one. Intermittent electrical problem, maybe. Who knows? We'll get that from the team and try and find out. He has not dropped a lap. We'll see how he goes if he comes round again. Hopefully he will get round again, and we'll check his lap times. It's still the same protagonists at the front of the field, with Gresham Wagner leading from Jared Thomas. Jared Thomas's car is a little bit of a funny one, because from the front it's got mostly white, but from the back it's got mostly red, so it can confuse you slightly. Whelen Mazda is doing a great job for BSI, racing in 3rd position, hanging with the big dogs. Nathan Nicholson and Jeremy Fletcher up the top 5, and then there is finally just a little gap to Justin Adeconis, who is the second best of the rookie, should I say, from Macumbi Racing. He's got Noah Harmon, another rookie, behind him in 7th place, and Tyler Gonzalez. But it's this top 5 that they're just pulling away, and I think that's because there are positional battles going on behind them, Shay, and we know what happens. Side by side is not quick in a Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup.
No, and Justin Adiconis and Noah Harmon fighting on the track as they have been doing all year in the points for best finishing rookie and for best rookie of the year. That comes with an $80,000 check at the end of the season. Noah Harmon right now 4th overall in championship points, and he's only 40 points ahead of Adiconis. But that means that he has the advantage. Right now, they're fighting it out on the racetrack, while Helio Mazda, as you rightly say, a phenomenal comeback drive so far today for BSI and for all of their cars. I mean, Tyler Gonzalez is up to 8th, and he'll be a threat at the end of this one, too. But Mazda is looking like a veteran all over the tail of Jared Thomas.
Nate Cicero did make it back to the pit lane after that 1 minute 17-second stop. He's come straight back into the lane and has not at this point rejoined. So obviously he wasn't happy that he could stay out there and be safe on the race course. Now, are we getting that 5 whittled down to 3? Do you know, I think we are. And all of a sudden, Shea, with 18.5 minutes to go, the complexion of this race, certainly at the front of the race, has changed entirely from having a whole group of getting on for 15 Mazda MX-5s scrapping at the front of the field. We have, in some ways, the usual suspects, with the addition, as we've been talking about, of the rookie Helio Mazda for BSI. So it's Rafa Racing Team by MMR, JTR in second, BSI in third, then a little bit of a gap to Nathan Nicholson for Advanced Autosports, with Jeremy Fletcher and Justin Adiconis, the two Michelin racing car drivers who are in that next group. They're just starting to break up. In fact, actually, it's Nicholson and Fletcher now who are just breaking away. And so it's a 3, a 2. Now, is Jeremy Fletcher in that blue car? I think I saw a couple of hand signals there, but of the nicer variety between Nathan Nicholson and Jeremy Fletcher there, Shea. They're working together here, and they are getting back to the leading trio.
Yes, they are. They are closing that gap relatively quickly, actually, for how many cars are together. As Weston Workman is slow on the front straight, it looks as if that BSI driver has damage. No, not for the new livery. Ugh, Weston Workman has had horrible luck so far this year. He's actually made a hard left turn, driving the wrong way onto the pit lane. That is very smart from Weston. He kept it green, he kept the car out of danger, and has moved to a place where the officials can get to him behind the wall. Very heads-up driving from Weston Workman. But you're correct, John. At the head of the field, that leading trio was being joined by the duo, as Helio Mazda now dropping off a tiny little bit as well. I'm just giving the points to Gresham Wagner at this stage of the race for leading the most laps. He's done 10. Nobody else has time to match him. So congratulations, Weston. Gresham, 10 points your way.
Still 16.5 minutes to go. Best lap of the race is still Jeremy Fletcher in that blue car in 4th position. And this is smart by Nathan Nicholson. Jeremy Fletcher is the fastest man on the track. Was last time around with a 135.1. That's a couple or 3/10 quicker than the cars ahead. Doesn't sound a lot, but they are getting closer. And as long as Nathan Nicholson does not charge, does not look down the inside, does not make that blue car change its line, they are gaining ever so slightly. Really lovely line through the carousel from Fletcher. He's made up, what, 2, maybe 3 cars lengths on the top 3 there. And we're going to have a quintet of Mazdas, 20 wheels of action as they head up the hill again on the 18th lap. But more importantly, we're coming down to the last third of the race. This one is not done. No headlines being written as yet. I'm not even writing off, Shea, Noah Harmon and Justin Adiconis and Grant West and Tyler Gonzalez and Vaughan Mishko, who are the next little group taking it down to the top 10, because if there is some scrapping behind, that is a gap that we have seen close very, very quickly in races in the past.
Or, to be honest, I'm not going to count out Glenn McKee or Alex Bashir either, because they, alongside Bryce Cornier, they know how to race very well. So if there's an opportunity with a third of the race to go, it's certainly going to come back into that second group's hands. They will be the ones to take advantage of this opportunity. But for now, they're having a lot of fun battling themselves.
Just to confirm, we've got 2 BSI racing cars that will not make the finish. The latest of the 2 of them, Western Workman in that new livery, the number 13 car. And Ethan Tyler was out very early on. Nate Cicero also now in the pits, and the team telling us that his car is a retirement. 25 Celsius in the air. That's warm enough. If you prefer, that's 115 Fahrenheit on the track, 77 in the air. That's 46 on the track, and the Michelin tyres working hard here at Mid-Ohio. A track that might have been designed specifically for Mazda MX-5 racing, Shea.
Oh, I think it was. I think when they created the track in the 1950s, they had the vision of what would be the Miata to be built in 1990. And that's what they decided to build the track around, for sure. That's what our racing has flourished. And within that racing, we have a young man by the name of Jeremy Fletcher. He is the other driver besides Nate Cicero who has gotten pole position this year. He's earned 3. Well, he's just set the fastest lap of the race, and he is about a 10th off of the fastest lap that we had in qualifying. So, if Jeremy Fletcher can continue to find a little bit more pace and speed as we go through the next 13 and a half minutes of this race, he might just take pole position for tomorrow too.
And we have the 5 back together. There were 15, then it dropped to about 8, and then it was a 3, a 2 and a 6, and now it's a 5, and quite a big gap, somewhere in the region of 2 and a bit seconds between the top 5, and Noah Harmon is still leading the charge from 6th on down, and there's got to be half a dozen cars in that battle pack as well. But at the front of the field, Gresham Wagner is enjoying himself, leading. He hasn't had anybody in front of him for a very long time. I have to say, with a little bit of experience of watching these races, as Shea and I have, Jared Thomas looks quite menacing sitting there behind. He's not trying to put any kind of move on the leader so far, but he doesn't seem to be leaning on his car either. At the moment, we're doing a bit of jabbing, we're doing a bit of bobbing and weaving, but nobody is trying to land a knockout punch here, Shea.
Jared Thomas is very happy right now. Gresham Wagner is also very happy. As I mentioned earlier, he had a giant piece of the track come and hit his windshield in practice yesterday. The video on Instagram, you can find it on social media, it was quite alarming. So Gresham decided at that point in time he doesn't like following other people. He would rather be out front, and he has done that to an extreme level today, leading all but 3 laps of this race. So Gresham Wagner out front, very happy to stay there, but you gotta know, Jared Thomas, 2-time champion, Gresham Wagner, 2-time champion. Jared Thomas is just biding his time. He is waiting for the proper moment to make the strike, and he knows you don't make it with 11 minutes to go in this race. You make it maybe with 2 corners to go.
Yeah, absolutely right. And he's led all bar 3 of the laps with his left-hand indicator on as well. We're going to have a little bit of a chat afterwards about the incident that happened a few minutes ago between Woody Hyman and it was the number 44 as well with Woody, wasn't it? So that would be Bobby Gossett, one of the rookie drivers for McCumbee McNamara Racing, race control, noting that incident, and they will be having a look at that post-race. We still have this top 5. Just wonder how much Jeremy Fletcher's had to take out of his tyres to get back to that group. He was putting fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap. He's now lapping half a second slower, so he is allowing his tyres to come back to him just a little bit. But behind them, Noah Harmon and Justin Adeconis and Grant West and Tyler Gonzalez and Vaughan Mishko and Bryce Cornet, and I'm still going, because all of those have put their fastest laps in last time around. The bright yellow and blue car, right in the middle of that is Grant West, and he was very quick in the early running here, got up to speed very nicely indeed and headed the first session. But now even that little group, which was 6 cars, are 3 pairs here, so that pace is beginning to pick up in the chasing pack.
Yeah, Grant West, who's been driving this weekend on a different level than we've seen him before. It's almost as if he knows that it's time to step up. He has been almost leading the Spark Performance charge, not to take anything away from what Bryce Cornier or Alex Bouchura has been able to do. But Grant has something special about Mid-Ohio, and he really does seem to be that little bit extra driven, no pun intended. I'm curious as to why Nathan Nicholson, after being so feisty off the start of the race, has been almost happy to sit back in P5. But you bring up a good point, John. When you fight, you draw other people in. Nathan knows that, so maybe he's happy to sit in line, because then it's a 5-way battle for the lead instead of just a 12-car battle for the lead.
Exactly so. We're starting to get a little bit feisty now, with Elio Meza trying to get up the inside of the second place Jared Thomas. The red and white car is the second place car. And let's not forget, Nathan Nicholson was right up at the sharp end of the field, battling for the lead, then dropped all the way down to 6th or 7th, and has used Jeremy Fletcher in the nicest possible way to get himself back onto this. And he's using him again here as he drafts down the inside, going into the S's and Madness section. And he might just be able to squeeze down the inside of Elio Meza there. Elio may be showing a little bit of inexperience. And there's somebody's been spun down. I think it was Nicholson. Nicholson's gone around. Yes, it was. The yellow car of Nicholson getting a little tap as it came across the top of the brow there. And Nicholson, from being, I think, in 4th at one stage, is all the way back. That might be outside the top 10. Just happening as the 3 cars of Nicholson, Fletcher and Meza were coming through. Now, see if we can pick the bunt out of this. He was right alongside Meza, up on the curb. And then, Meza just got into the left-hand side. Rear, a really good piece of recovery by Nicholson, but he will be fuming. He has lost, what, 6, 7 places there, Shay?
Yeah, that was a very unfortunate moment. Elio Meza was trying to hold position, and he actually went over the curb. You could see the brake lights come on, and that's the telltale sign of I'm not where I want to be. Then the contact ensued. Race control will take a look at that, and they will ultimately make a decision. But it does not look good for Elio Meza, who was doing such a good job earlier on, charging back up to the top 3, let's not forget, after qualifying way further down. But now, the battle for the lead, Gresham Wagner with a slight advantage, Jared Thomas with his hands full of Jeremy Fletcher. I'm sorry, is this a replay of last year? And then right behind them, Elio Meza, for whom there could be a penalty coming. So that really does make this a 3-way fight for the win of this race in 6.5 minutes time.
And behind those top 3 that we're talking about, Gresham Wagner, Jared Thomas, Jeremy Fletcher, the battle for the win in the rookie category. Elio Meza holds that at the moment, but with a metaphorical sword of Damocles hanging over him. I think we'll get a decision on that before the end of the race. And behind him, Justin Adeconis, is only a second or so, a couple of seconds behind, and then Noah Harmon is only half a second back as Elio Meza puts in the fastest lap of the race. I think he knows he's got to get a wiggle on here just in case he gets some kind of penalty. But that not only would take him out of 4th position, Shay, but that could well cost him the win in the rookie category.
Oh, for sure, with Justin Adeconis only not even 3 seconds further back. If there is any kind of penalty for incident responsibility, which would equivocate in a drive-through, that would move him down to, oh gosh, possibly even 25th in the field. It would be a huge blow to their championship aspirations for BSI as a team.
Shea Adam and John Hindhoff with you in the IMSA Global Broadcast Centre. More vinyl being traded, this time from Jeremy Fletcher and Jared Thomas. Thomas holding on to 2nd place, but barely there as the JFR car drops in behind the JTR car. And Meza's right back with them again here, and this could really stir up the pot. Now, this is where everybody is allowed to get properly excited. We're coming down to the last 5 minutes. Gresham Wagner has played an absolute blinder and he's pulled out, getting on for a second now, and there's battles going on behind him. This is manna from heaven, and very, very unusual in Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup.
I would not be at all surprised if Gresham Wagner has disposed of his rearview mirror. Focus forward, look at what's coming in front of you. Whatever they're going to do behind, they're going to do anyway. Might as well just do what you came here for. And I said, Gresham Wagner came here with one thing in mind, one goal. That's it. He wants to win. And right now, he is doing everything he needs to make that dream come true.
And Whelen Mazda has now been cleared of incident responsibility, as we've got a problem further down the field. No further action on that incident with Nate Nicholson, and oh my goodness, it is the Lightning McQueen car, the number 95, that is slowing. It looks like there's bodywork on the left rear corner of that car, and Farhan Siddiqui for BSI Racing comes in to the pit lane. Now that suggests to me, Shay, that there's been a bit of contact out there.
Yes, and the car that crossed start finish line first after Farhan came into the pit lane was Damon Oki. That would be car number 09, but I think it was actually Steve Weber who was involved in that contact in car number 68. Yes, and Steve is actually still stopped out on the track.
Absolutely spot on, Shay. Correct, he's out on the circuit in the blue, the lighter blue and white. And that car is off on the outside again at the end of the lap down at turn 12. The leaders are still fighting. We're down to 3 minutes. Oh my goodness, it looks like a great white has taken a chunk out of the left rear of that Mazda of Farhan Siddiqui. The pry bar is out to try and get anything that's metallic away from the tyre, so they can maybe put a new wheel and tyre combination on and get him back out there. And thank you to Morrow, the fish. He's always in there, always in there. The best at the pit lane. 4 cars battling now at the front of the field, as it does look like the rookie has gone through and taken 3rd position on the overall. So it's Wagner still leading as he was, but Jeremy Fletcher now decides it's time to show the blue and black nose, heading down the hill and now up over the top through the S's and over Madness. It's Wagner, Fletcher, Mazda, Jared Thomas now back down into 4th position, and then the big gap.
Fletcher needs to be careful here. The
leader
is Gresham Wagner, who is his teammate, even though the Rafa Motorsport car is technically running under a different team banner, but they are still all MMR. In 3rd place is BSI, in 4th is JTR, and again, of all these drivers fighting for the win, only Jared Thomas has experienced the sweet taste of the champagne from victory so far this season. Are we going to keep that going, or are we going to get a different winner? We'll find out in about a minute and a half now. White flag is out.
White flag is out, and that incident between the number 68 and Farhan Siddiqui, that will be replayed. So Steve Weber will not know his fate, neither will Farhan until after the event. That's because both cars are not moving. Now is go time. All that time in the lead for Gresham Wagner, and Jeremy Fletcher's been biding his time. Remember, he put fastest lap in after fastest lap to get back to this battle. He brought Nathan Nicholson with him, but he's now out of this battle. The driver most likely is Whelen Mazda at the moment, who pushes through, and there is a change of lead, and it's Fletcher pushed through by Mazda, who dives to the left-hand side. There's still 4 in this, and only 3 on the podium, and off goes Jared Thomas. That is a very unusual thing to see. Jared just trying to get in to the corner too quickly, lost the rear Michelins. He's going to be in the beach, in China Beach, right on the edge of it. There are now 3 left for the 3 steps on the podium, and it's the rookie that's right in the middle of the 2 experienced drivers. And there's a problem. Somebody slowing down there, was there? Yes, there was. The number 81 car, Gresham Wagner, lifted out of it. I'm not sure what was going on there, but was side by side for a moment. But it's Fletcher that's leading as they come through to the end of the lap. The white and blue car scrapping over second, but there's only one winner as they cross the line, and it's Macumbi-Macaleer Racing's Jeremy Fletcher in what for Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup Racing is a huge gap of nearly 9/10 of a second. Elio Meza is the best of the rookies and takes a brilliant second position, a fighting second position, with Gresham Wagner in third. Nathan Nicholson fights his way back to fourth. What a battle Nathan Nicholson must have had. He was outside the top 10 after being spun out by Elio Meza. Then Adeconis, Noah Harmon, another couple of rookies there. Tyler Gonzalez, Bryce Cornet, and Vaughan Mitchell, and Jesse Love, another rookie in the top 10. I don't think there was contact there for that number 96 that is going to finish way down now for Jared Thomas. He'll finish in 24th position. Shay has been doing the arithmetic and comes up with the answer, which is this.
Jared Thomas was scored in the 24th position, which means that he drops down to at least 5th in the championship standings. Tyler Gonzalez, first time since the first race this year, as we are now halfway through our 2025 season, leads the championship. He has 1,820 points. He's ahead of Jeremy Fletcher, who goes from 5th to 2nd with today's results, and now Fletcher is 10 points ahead of Nicholson. So although Nicholson had a very busy race, he stays 3rd in points. The guys ahead of him are the ones that have moved. Noah Harmon moves up to 4th in the championship points, stays in 4th, but he now has Jared Thomas that he is staring at the back of.
So Noah Harmon, is Noah Harmon now the best of the rookies as well?
Let me do that math really quickly.
Okay, while I tell you the unofficial Mazda results here at the O'Reilly Auto Parts 4 Hours of Mid-Ohio. Race 1 of 2, Jeremy Fletcher for Macumbi-Macaleer Racing takes it from the rookie Elio Meza for BSI. Rafa Racing in 3rd with Gresham Wagner. A great fight back from Nathan Nicholson. Those points could be really important. Then Adeconis, Harmon, Gonzalez, Cornet, Mishko, Love in the top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 10 are rookies. Problems at the back end of the field, and that was a really not a great weekend so far for Nate Cicero. We also lost Ethan Tyler, Weston Workman, and Steve Webber. Farhan Siddiqui with problems as well. And as far as our female drivers are concerned, I think that was Sally Mott who was ahead at the end of that. I'm just going through. She can confirm that as she's doing the points for our rookies. Just a hint of moisture in the air with the humidity well up towards 50%. So a brilliant win. Go ahead, Che.
It was Sally Mott, the best of our women. We've got Alex Bashura, who won the Takumi Award, and it is still Noah Harmon leading the rookie championship.
Jeremy Fletcher bided his time, even though he dropped back down the field. He knew he had the pace. Although, interestingly, Elio Meza nicked the fastest lap away from him on the final lap. If you thought that was interesting, wait until tomorrow. They were saving themselves a little bit today. You wouldn't have thought that. Shay Adam was with me, John Hindhoff in the IMSA Broadcast Centre. Thanks to our camera operators on site and to our technical team, both here and up at Concord. Keith D'Alessandro was the man in my ear. Thanks to the whole team. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm John Hindhoff. Bye-bye.